Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Desktop Ball. It's the only show where I sit at my desktop and talk ball. Today is Friday, December 13th. And if you made it through that Thursday night football game, congratulations, you survived. We survived. This was Iowa versus Minnesota. This was Big Ten in December between two bad football teams. Uh, More punts than yards, it felt like at one point in the game. I'm sure it was the case eventually. 12-6, Rams get the win. Rams were a 2.5 point dog in San Francisco. They cover and win. And I don't want to say it's the Rams' fault that this game was boring because the Rams they were a little boring for sure, but they did end up having some offense, getting some work done on offense. Uh, San Francisco was just a snooze fest to watch in this game. Trying to establish the run, couldn't get it going. Really, it felt like nobody could get the run going, especially in the first half. The first half wasn't even football. The first half was like, let's all hang out in the rain. It was just like as boring as a Thursday night football game can be. I'm sure a lot of people are Kyron or Puka or Cooper Cup or Jawan Jennings or George Kittle owners in fantasy football, or Debo Samuel owners, and are hurt by this game. I know it's playoff season. I know it's probably killing quite a few people. Fortunately for me, in the leagues that I have those players, I'm on bye. So, maybe just be good like me and you'll be okay. But yeah, I mean, just a total snooze fest of a Thursday night game. Al Michaels, I mean, the guy is just up there bored out of his mind. And it's kind of fun, honestly, to hear him just complain and hate on boring football. Nobody hates bad football more than Al Michaels, and he is up there letting you know that he's bored out of his mind, which I think is fair. Um, the Niners have to pay Brock Purdy at the end of this year. And last year he played really well. You got to give him credit for like last year he was very good. Um, I'm a little, I guess, just in doubt of whether he's worth, like he's not worth $50 million a year. I think we're all aware that that's like not the caliber of quarterback that Brock Purdy is. He's really good when he's surrounded by the absolute best roster in football, but if you pay him too much, obviously you can't surround him with the best roster in football. Um, I don't know, maybe a Daniel Jones style deal, 2 years, 40 a year guaranteed, 4 years total, and you give him a chance to continue to prove it, and then maybe if he improves from there, you sign him the long deal. I know Daniel Jones deal rings a lot of negative bells in a lot of people's mind, but I think giving like a 4 year, $40 million a year deal where the first two are guaranteed and the next two aren't, something like that. I think would be reasonable for a guy like Brock Purdy. I don't know, like he's played well in moments for sure, but he's also like he was absolutely terrible in this game, absolutely terrible. Um, and yeah, it's raining and whatever, but it's ugly. It's an ugly brand of football when they don't have all the weapons out there. Um, it feels like the Niners kind of need a reset, and I'm not sure how they're going to get it. And these guys are just going to get more and more expensive. It just kind of is what it is. Um, on the Rams side, 8-6, now a half game out of the division, right behind the Seattle Seahawks. This Rams team is a team absolutely no one's going to want to play. I mean, when you think of like a team that's capable of winning a Super Bowl, a lot of you should be thinking good coach, good quarterback, good weapons, good pass rush. Those like ability to run the ball, like all those are all the things that like really jump out, right? And that's the Rams. Like the Rams still have a lot of that Super Bowl DNA. It's still the same regime with Stafford and McVay. It's a team that absolutely could make a run. It's a team that nobody's going to want to play. Ask any other NFC team, hey, would you rather play Seattle or the Rams in the playoffs? They're saying Seattle. 100% of them will say Seattle. At least that's what I would say. I think the Rams are a team that could absolutely get hot, could absolutely make a run. In order to do so, they're going to have to steal the Commanders' spot. So they've got the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks. They can win out. So I guess they don't have to steal the Commanders' spot. They could just steal the Seahawks spot. But it depends on, the Commanders and the Seahawks and the Rams. These three teams are in the running for two spots effectively. Um, so could be interesting, especially coming down the stretch. I think the Rams will win out. I think they're better than all three of these teams. And I think you're going to be looking at an 11-6 Rams team that is hot and that can be dangerous, seriously dangerous. So I love the Rams. I'm super high on them. I have been all year. And I will continue to be high on them until they give me a reason not to be. Um, for that reason, I took them plus 2.5 yesterday. I thought that was an interesting line. I think this Niners team is just overhyped, and people continue to bet them like they're last year's Niners team, and they're not. So felt like free money was free money. I improved to, I don't know, I think I'm like 12-2 on the year on Thursday nights, and then it all collapses on the Sunday. So let's see if we can prevent that here. Starting off with Kansas City at Cleveland. Kansas City is a 4-point favorite, and they have not covered the spread very often in recent games. I think they're like 0-7 against the spread in their last seven. But I think they're definitely better than the Browns. I think they're better than the Browns by more than four. Um, I think this is where the Chiefs maybe start to round into form. It starts to get cold. It starts to get Mahomes weather. And the Browns are just really, really bad. I know that they can score points and they've been scoring points, but I think the Chiefs are just too good. I like them by more than four. I think that's more than reasonable. Cincinnati at Tennessee is a 5-point favorite. Again, this afternoon slate you're going to see is a lot of good versus bad. A lot of good teams playing a lot of bad teams, and it's just not like there's not a ton to talk about. I think Cincinnati's good. I think Tennessee is bad. Give me Cincinnati by more than five. Similarly, Washington needs to get right, and they're playing against the Saints with Derek Carr injured. You just absolutely have to win this game, and you have to win it by more than seven. You got to get right. You got to blow them out. And I think that the Commanders are going to be in position to do that. Off principle, I don't even care who the two teams are. If you're laying 15 points, give me the team that's a 15-point dog. I know it's the Giants. I know we're awful at football. I know that the Ravens are way better than us. But 15 points, just out of principle, you have to take the points. Surely, just out of principle, you have to take the points. Carolina is going to be a very popular bet as a 2.5-point favorite over Dallas. Let's check it out. How popular? No, not popular. People are on Dallas. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Give me the Panthers. I think that Bryce Young has been playing really good football in recent weeks, and it's time for one to break their way. I think they're better than the Cowboys today. Like the Cowboys with Cooper Rush are not good. And Carolina's been playing well. I like J.C. Horn, have him follow CeeDee Lamb around and try to lock him down. And outside of CeeDee Lamb, like I don't know what the plan is for Dallas to beat Carolina. I like Carolina. They've played well recently. It's a team that's hot versus a team that's decrepit and dying and sad. You got to go with the Panthers. I think you have to go with the Panthers. The Jets are a 3.5-point favorite in Jacksonville. I hate that. It's an awkward line. It's going to be an ugly game. I do think the Jets will win. I wouldn't be surprised if it's by 3 points, which makes me think that maybe I shouldn't pick them. But there's just no way I can bring myself to pick the Jaguars. So let's go with the Jets as a 3.5-point favorite on the road in Jacksonville. Yikes. Houston's hosting Miami. Okay, Houston hosts Miami, 3-point favorite. Probably the best game of the 1 o'clock slate. Actually, definitely the best game of the 1 o'clock slate. If the Dolphins are going to try to make a playoff run, this is one of the big games they absolutely have to have. I think that Miami is really good. I think in the dome in Houston, I love Miami. I will not pick them in the cold. I will not make that mistake again. But in the warm against Houston, I like Miami. I think they're really good. A team that needs to come into form, and I just don't trust Houston. They are a very weird team this year in that CJ Stroud is down a little bit, definitely slumping, a bit of a sophomore slump. The defense isn't as good as it has been. It's like this team caught fire, and now everybody kind of has them a little bit figured out, and it's like, okay, like where do we go from here? I think Miami is going to go into Houston and get a massive win. Now, we're at the afternoon slate, and the whole reason that the whole 1 o'clock slate is not that interesting is this 4:25 slate is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible 4 o'clock slate. This is, when it's March or, when it's June and there's no sports and you miss football. This is the kind of afternoon you're thinking about. So make sure you find a way to get home and enjoy this 4 o'clock slate. It's going to be good. First, we've got a de facto playoff game uh, between Denver and Indianapolis. If Denver wins this, they're effectively in the playoffs. It would be really tough for them to get caught. If Indianapolis wins it, then the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Broncos are sort of in this race for that third spot. Just off of principle and the fact that I think it would be fun, give me the Colts to cover 4 points. I think Denver's better. I think they'll probably win this game, but maybe by three. Maybe by three. Maybe the Colts can hang in there. And I'd like the AFC race to stay interesting. So yeah, give me the Colts. Let's keep this. Let's keep it tight. Let's keep it close. Detroit's a 2.5 point favorite against the Bills in Detroit. Super Bowl atmosphere type of game. It's going to be loud. The place is going to be rocking. Um, Buffalo just played in that shootout against the Rams, had a heartbreaking loss. Um, Man, this is a tough game to pick. 2.5 point favorite is Detroit. What are people thinking? Let's look at what other people are thinking. Yeah, so about 58% of the money on Detroit here. Um, I do think they're the better team, but Buffalo has the better quarterback, and often you just go with the better quarterback in this sort of game, in this sort of atmosphere. It's at home for the Lions, so there's also that. Um, I'm gonna take the Bills. I'm gonna take the Bills because I know that everybody else is gonna take the Lions in my pick'em league. Everybody loves the Lions in my pick'em league. I'm gonna pick the Bills. I'm gonna be different, dare to be different, and hopefully Josh Allen and the Bills will take care of business there. I think the Bills are really good. They did just get outplayed by the Rams in a shootout, but the Bills play tough defense most of the time, apparently just not against the Rams. And the offense is really good. It's a team I typically trust. So give me the Bills in this one. We got the Pennsylvania battle. The Philadelphia Eagles host the Pittsburgh Steelers. 5 point favorite are the Eagles. Now, the Steelers are a team that is going to be pretty good against the run. They play great defense. They can make most games close. Um, and Philly, obviously, is my Super Bowl pick. I've been talking about them all year, talking about how much I love Philly. I don't think I'm going to be able to get away from Philly in this one. I think I like them too much. Even 5 points, I think, is maybe not enough. I think they can win by a touchdown against Pittsburgh. Um, I like the Steelers. Like I like everything about the Steelers roster other than Russell Wilson. I just can't bring myself to trust him, and it's continued to bite me in the ass. Honestly, all year I keep picking against the Steelers and being wrong, but I just can't bring myself to trust him. Similarly, I can't bring myself to trust these Cardinals, but they are 5.5 point favorite against New England at home. That doesn't seem like enough points for this New England team. Give me the Cardinals in that one. I think they're just a little too good for the Patriots at 5.5. The Chargers host Tampa Bay. This Tampa Bay team now commands the NFC South at 7-6. Took it from the Falcons, who are now 6-7. The Chargers actually no, the Chargers played the Falcons a couple weeks ago. That wasn't last week. The Vikings beat the Falcons last week. Anyway, the Chargers are hosting Tampa Bay. They're a 3 point favorite. I don't think the Chargers should be a 3 point favorite in this game. I don't know. I feel like Tampa Bay is like pretty good, and yes, the Chargers are good, and yes, they're at home, but they're not like a team that has blown people out or been like a real spread covering team. Um, like I see them winning a lot of games by 1, 2 points. I actually don't even know if that's true. Um, Tampa can score a lot of points though. They really can. Um, Give me Tampa. Give me Tampa to hang in and find a way to cover against this Los Angeles team. I like this Bucks team. I've been high on them all year. I love Baker Mayfield, high on him all year. So let's keep that train rolling. I like Green Bay against Seattle. I just don't think the Seattle team is that good, and I think that Green Bay is very good. Give me the Packers to go into Seattle as a 3-point favorite and cover. Um, the run game has been great with Josh Jacobs, and they've got a few mix up backs. They've got four receivers, any of whom can beat you on any given day. Jordan Love's been playing pretty well, been pretty interception free recently. So give me the Packers. I think that they're very good, and Seattle's a team that is good for sure, but not a team that I truly trust. Finally, we've got Minnesota. We've got two Monday Night Football games actually. Minnesota hosts Chicago. Um, 7-point favorite are the Vikings. Now, have these teams played already? And we're going to give you a look ahead here to our next story, but we'll give you a look ahead. That's okay. That's okay. We're definitely going to talk about Bill Belichick. That's everybody knew that was coming. In the first game against the Vikings, they lost by 3, but that was at home. Now we're in Minnesota. Is that enough? Is that enough to go to 7? I'll say it is. I'll say it is. And Minnesota has no, you can't do it. You can't do it. Here's the reason. You're never as bad as people think you are, and you're never as good as people think you are. And Minnesota just scored a trillion points, and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison were open on every single play against the Falcons. Um, and Chicago just could not be looking worse right now. This is a second game between division opponents. I think the Bears will hang tough. Will they win? Probably not. It's the Bears, but can they hang? Can they cover? I think they could. Finally, Atlanta is more than 5 points better than the Raiders. I think the Raiders are just not very good at all. So there's my picks. We're gonna save those, and hopefully we do. Last week I think I went 4 for 14 or something like that. Just devastatingly bad on the picks. Here we've got 16 games, no more buys, closing stretch of the NFL season, fantasy playoffs. So dial in, get ready to go. Whether you're looking to avoid last place or whether you're looking to go win that championship, it's the time to dial in right now. We can get rid of this. All right, two college football stories. First, Bill Belichick took the UNC job. Could it work? Could it work that Bill Belichick takes a job at UNC? And there was the interview. I'm sure you've seen it. Where former players. It's Julian Edelman and Gronkowski and God, who else was it? I think it was Tom Brady. I think it was Brady, Edelman, and Gronk are on some panel, and they're like, "Yeah, like, can you imagine Bill like on the recruiting couch, like whatever?" And they were like, "No," because in the past, college football has been very relationship oriented around this the recruiting, the retention of players, all of that type of stuff, right? Um, However, I would say that college football has become more and more transactional in the NIL and the transfer portal era. It's more what can you do for me and what can I do for you in exchange? It's moving closer and closer to a professional model. You'll hear all the people complaining, like, oh, there's too much money in college football, there's too much money, this, that, and the other thing. All of that is because the sport is losing a lot of its relationship feel and becoming more and more transactional between players and the school. And whatever you think of that, I think it hurts that college football is going that direction. I do think it's like unfortunate because I think it's really cool that there's some identity in the team. It's I am a Texas Longhorn. I'm not a New York Giant. I'm a New York Giant fan, but I am a Texas Longhorn. I think losing a lot of that like identity value is hurting college football. I think that the money in the sport means that players don't want to stick around. It's confusing, it's difficult, whatever. Um, but players do deserve to get paid, and I understand that. It's just a drawback of what happens when you pay players, and that's fine. However, I think Bill Belichick in a transactional space is going to be better than most. He's a great talent evaluator. He's great at getting the most out of the talent that exists. I mean, how many times did he go and win Super Bowls with, like a guy like Julian Edelman? Julian Edelman's a great receiver. You would not know his name if he was not a New England Patriot. If that dude played on, I don't know, pick a team. If that dude played on the Minnesota Vikings, you would not know who Julian Edelman is. Like he wasn't like generational like that. And there's plenty of players like that. Danny Amendola, Wes Welker. Wes Welker I thought was really good. But I mean, plenty of guys, Juju Smith-Schuster, that he got the most out of, despite them being, either maybe a little too old or washed up or overlooked or whatever. I mean, hell, he got Tom Brady 6 Super Bowls, and I know Tom Brady's really good, but a big part of it is Bill Belichick, right? I think he can get the most out of the players that he does have. I think he'll recruit players well. I think he'll retain players well. And it's not like he has to go and be on the recruiting trail. I mean, look at Dion. Dion is not doing house visits. He's not sitting on your couch telling you should come to Colorado. The name is the appeal. It's you want to go play for Dion. You want to go play for Bill Belichick. I think he will be able to sell people on, come to UNC. We're an NFL factory. We're going to turn you into an NFL player, and we're going to play well in the process. It's also the ACC. You don't have to be that great to make moves in the ACC. I mean, you could be pretty good in the ACC just with a few improvements. Now, it is interesting to go from Mac Brown, who's an old ex-champion, to Bill Belichick, who's an old ex-champion, and he does maybe lack in the ability to connect with the players. I mean, he is older, and you know, how long can he do it? All of that type of stuff. I definitely hear that. But in terms of like, can this be successful? I think it can be successful. I think it can and probably will be successful. I would not be surprised if UNC is in the playoff in the next 3 years. In fact, I would expect UNC to be in the playoff in the next 3 years. It's the ACC. You can definitely go win the ACC. We did awards as well, award season. Plenty of people are going to talk about how Travis Hunter shouldn't have won the receiver award, and he probably shouldn't have, but he did. We've also got Heisman finalists. I don't really care that much about the awards, but here we are. Cam Ward's at plus 25,000. Dylan Gabriel plus 25,000. Neither of them are going to win it. Both had incredible seasons. All four of these players absolutely deserve to be in New York. I think they should have done a fifth finalist, frankly, and let Shedeur Sanders show up. I think Shedeur has been just incredible all year. If you want to do Dylan Gabriel and Cam Ward, that's fine. I think Shedeur should be right there with those guys. I think I think he's had as good of a season than those guys, or as those guys rather. The two people that have a chance are Ashton Jeanty and Travis Hunter. Now, it looks like Travis Hunter is just going to be the runaway favorite in this. And in most years, either of these seasons would win the Heisman. So it is unfortunate that one of these guys is not going to win the Heisman. If I had a vote, I would vote for Ashton Jeanty. And I know that a lot of people seem to be saying that, even people who have votes. Like, oh, I could see why you would vote for Jeanty, or like, if I had a vote, I would vote for Jeanty. I understand he did it against a Group of Five schedule, but it's not like he didn't do it against Oregon. He did just as well against Oregon as in those other games. And he will finish the season maybe breaking the record, at least close to the record. Yes, it'll be in way more games than Barry Sanders, and I get that, but records are meant to be broken. Yes, it's maybe a slight asterisk on it, but it is what it is. This is the direction college football is moving. There's going to be more games. That's just the way it's going to be. The person who breaks the record will do it in more games than Barry Sanders. It would be a big surprise if somebody was able to run for 26, 28 in 11 games again. That's just not what the sport is anymore. I think Ashton Jeanty is incredible. I think what he's done all year is incredible. The second best rusher in the country is Ashton Jeanty after contact. He is an absolute problem, a game wrecker. He took a team to the playoff that has no business anywhere near the playoff if he's not on it. You absolutely cannot tell me that Boise State is in the playoff or sniffing the playoff without Ashton Jeanty this season. Travis Hunter, I think he's really, really good. I think he's absolutely incredible. He is, He's a unicorn. We'll probably not see something like Travis Hunter for a long time. I don't like people arguing, he's gonna win the award because he does cardio or the snaps argument. I get it. Like the snaps argument, I get it. But he does play every single snap and he stayed healthy all year, which is really tough to do. He's a very good corner. He's a very good receiver. In fact, he won the award for best cornerback and the award for best receiver. I don't think he's the best receiver. I do not think he should have won that. There's that kid at San Jose State that is first in every receiver category who probably should have won it. But he did win both awards. And he's absolutely like he's generational. He's going to go high in the draft, if not first. He's incredible. Absolutely. I would still vote for Ashton Genty. I think what he's done this season is just too impressive. Um, and I don't think that I don't know. Just because Travis Hunter plays two ways doesn't mean we have to immediately say like he should be the Heisman. But I mean, he's been incredible on both sides of the ball. This is where you run into this unfortunate situation where only one guy can win this award, and they both absolutely deserve it. And I would vote for Ashton Genty. I think more people will vote for Travis Hunter. And he's minus 2,500 for a reason, right? That's going to do it for today's episode of Desktop Ball. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share with a friend, share with as many friends as you'd like. Follow the TikTok. We're looking to grow. I need to actually make an effort and upload some TikToks if I am going to say that. So I'll find some time. I'll upload some TikToks and we'll get it going. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all on Tuesday for another lovely recap, and goodbye.